makes breathing so funny.
It is good fun.
And it's about time for Ken to pop on.
Might load the things up. Somebody's got their car alarms going off.
What's up?
Somebody had cars honking in the background.
You heard that?
Yeah?
Wow. Yeah. Parking garage in my apartment or townhouse complex, I guess. There's no cameras or anything, so people break into stuff quite frequently.
Oh, the joys of metropolitan existence.
Well, I guess you can call it that. I mean, Flagstaff's not too big,
I know,
but on campus,
but in town at all is still more town than honesty.
yeah.
I have a pretty broad definition.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly I've lived in places where comparatively Flagstaff's huge. You have mail. I wish we had a D&D game going. Then we'd always have something to do.
That'd be fun. Did you ever, are you going to play the Storium game or not?
What?
Did I not send you a link? I lose track. I set up a Storium game. I was trying to get people to.
Oh, yeah, could you post that again? I'll do it right now.
Yeah, let me find it. Eventually, we'll gather enough characters to make it go. I should get the thing.
What website is this? What does it do?
It's a collaborative storytelling game.
And there's a lot of games going on at the same time, just different forums and whatnot.
Yeah, you can set up all kinds of games. I actually started playing it, I don't know, several years ago when it was still a Kickstarter thing.
That's cool.
I think I think they did the public release like sometime about a year ago. Pretty cool. And it's actually got a lot of the design is based on like role playing games and things. You can have cards and
Interesting.
things to kind of help guide it. You can use it for in a really unstructured way, or you can kind of structure the narrative.
So so walk me through the tabs and whatnot.
What are you seeing right now?
So
You in the
first
green
one,
room?
game info. You got players, which is you guys. Characters, which is the ones you guys made. And then
Yeah.
cards. I don't understand that bit, I suppose. So places.
So yeah, the cards are the kind of setting cards.
So for the story, you would pick one of these places or something.
Yeah, or you can make up new ones. Like I have access to a bunch of pre-built frameworks, and so I grabbed like the Noir one or something to
So can you make
do
up your
some.
own, or do you want us to play with the ones that are there?
No, you can make up your own.
Okay.
You talking about making a character?
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Yeah. So like with your character, you'll get to pick cards. You can pick a strength card. Characters have 6 cards. You get a nature card, and because it's amusing, the natures are just MBTI types.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what I made those, and then the strengths and weaknesses. Like my theme that I kind of went with is that they should be related to the MBTI type because it's funny. You get to make those up yourself. And then subplots, and that will be the character cards. And then like goal cards and asset cards, I can give the characters once the game starts. Or like if something happens in the game and a character in the narrative acquires a item, you can give them an asset card so they can use
A
that
wood
later.
chipper. That's funny.
And yeah. And then there's obstacle cards, which are actually used a lot. So you'll set up a scene and you can throw in an obstacle card, and you can say it requires so many cards to solve, and so people can play strength, weakness, or subplot cards on it. And depending on the average, it's like if people play at least half positive cards, right, strength cards, then whoever plays it plays like the last one gets to take over the stories. The way that you normally play, like they get kind of to say that the outcome is good, and they get to describe how it was good. And
Okay.
if people play bad ones, then you kind of get it. Okay, well, it's going to go bad. So it's kind of fun because that way you can kind of steer the story.
Yeah, it's similar to a
I don't know
RPG
if I play
game,
bad
but
cards on this. What'd you
it,
say?
it's similar to an RPG game. Like it's similar to Fate in some ways. They're called character aspects. So you have
Yeah,
your main aspect, which I suppose would be subplot, the thing that drives the character's actions and whatnot. And then you have other aspects, and you can invoke them to get a some sort of benefit in the scenario.
yeah. No, it's based like they did base it on some RPG stuff. I've never played much RPG things, but it does make it functional. Like,
Can I read about the characters that have been made?
yeah,
Cool.
you'd be able to see most of them or all of
So,
them.
which one's the one you made?
I made DS McQueen. My username is Axel Nightblade.
Okay. SI Tardation. So you haven't filled in your other strength and weakness, or do those come later?
Other, you only get So you have wild cards.
Oh, I see.
You get wild. So you have your kind of core strengths and weaknesses, and then you have wild cards, and so you can make them up in the moment. And then, like, I think there's something in the algorithm that, like, after you run out of strength and weakness cards, then it'll, your next set is a combination of what you picked for wild cards and what you originally picked, and so it evolves over time. I don't think I've ever played a game that went long enough that you got to refresh your cards more than once.
Yeah. I was just wondering if do you get cards as the story progresses? So if a certain scenario happens in the game or story or whatever, do you get an aspect for your character?
Yeah, so you can get, let me see what they're called. So there's different story cards. Well, no, there's actually other player cards I can give people. So
Okay.
your cores, you have your nature, which doesn't really change. It just kind of describes you, and then you have your strength and weakness and subplot cards, right?
Hmm.
Positive, negatives, and neutrals. And then I can give you other neutrals such as assets or goals. And when you fulfill a goal or you get some kind of prize, like you get a bonus strength card or something. I don't remember what you get, but like yeah, if you're going through the story and you kind of acquire a new goal or subplot or whatever, you can get cards.
Can your weaknesses be used for benefits too?
I mean, the weakness can be used however you want. The theory is just that
So for
it is a
instance,
weak.
if I was a drunk and, you know, I don't know, the story progresses and you're in a bar and everyone's drinking with one another and you're able to function um, and hold yourself better than other people. You can get some sort of uh, like story benefit from it or something like that.
Yeah, if you can be clever. I mean, you can be clever as you want. A lot of times, what happens is you'll play those on like as far as the structure is, you'll play them on obstacle cards, and the obstacle cards usually have a vague description of kind of if the outcome of the actual obstacle is positive or negative. You know, it'll say, "Oh, you got the information from the informant," or "Oh, you didn't get the information." You know, and then around that, you can do whatever you want.
Uh-huh. I like Elsie's possessed ducklings. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Ensues.
A loyal following of small yet oddly agile ducklings.
I just like that Elsie's character is named Elsie, and it more or less is Elsie.
So the ones that are say submitted and not active, are those just ones that you threw out?
No. So I have it open where people, since I didn't want to individually invite everybody from TWFP, I opened it up to open submissions, and so those are just like random people that were browsing the site that found it,
Okay.
and I probably won't let them in.
So how many people do you want before you start?
Um, 5 or 6 would be best.
And then can people join as the story goes?
Yeah, if they want to. People can join, and people can create multiple characters if you want to. I can give people permission to do that.
You just have
I
more.
don't remember. Huh?
You just have more of a burden. Like you'd probably get more writing, I would think, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play so like if we were playing the story and somebody invents an NPC that kind of becomes important, and we're like, oh, somebody should play this. Like another thing you can do is you're like, all right, we can make this a playable character and convince somebody to play it or whatever.
And then this player reference is just the background.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
It can be as long or short or whatever. Like,
But
I always enjoy
this is the
writing
set,
those.
so this is important, but for making a character and whatnot.
Yeah. I'll write a longer background for my character eventually. There's all these games. It's always funny because you have to build the characters to try to get into games, and you request to play. And so I've built so many characters on here, and so I just have like this stable of characters I can use or write stories about or whatever. Most of them didn't get to play stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one sad thing is that most of the stories never get completed. Like, for whatever reason, people drift away and they don't end. I did play one all the way through, and that was a hoot, though.
So with the character background, you can choose to be part of the corrupt politics, like a corrupt politician. You'd be a police officer, you'd be a mobster, or whatever.
You could be absolutely anything.
Good deal.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of structure to this story so far. I figured I would let people create their characters and kind of see what everybody came up with, and then I would come up with a vague kind of narrative idea to kind of go that would work. That I think it would go well with that.
Yeah, that's what a good DM does in RPGs.
And then Waits gave us our name for the story. Or the genre. Wait, it doesn't have a name, but it has a genre. Yeah, this is a fun website.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
One of the things I do sometimes is I'll like if I've got a character in some of my original fiction and stuff that I want to work out, like I'll just go like create that character and try to get it into somebody else's game and just play it for a while and be like, all right. Like I now better understand this character. And oftentimes have enough original material from playing that game that I can, probably craft a short story out of what I built.
Mm-hmm. So wait, what year is this? Is this like modern day or what?
Um,
Because it says the city was founded in 1835, but I haven't read the whole thing yet. But
what are you reading?
I'm not sure what it is yet.
Are you reading the reference?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know. That's actually not super important. That was just the default. I didn't even read it.
Oh, this is the default reference.
Yeah. So I picked so there's all these pre-built like sets of cards and worlds, and one of my Kickstarter perks is I have access to them all. So I just picked the noir one, and I was like, well, I can give me a little inspiration sometimes. Let me read this.
Oh well, you should do your own.
Mention that.
Expand upon it or something.
Yeah, I was thinking like nearish future, like, or there might be time traveling. I don't know.
Well, before I make my character, I want to know. I want to know what this place is. What's going on?
Uh, hmm. What do you want to know? And I'll make it up as you ask.
Um. Well, I want to know, like geographically where it is, what the weather's like, what the climate's like. Um. Obviously what year it is, and that things like time travel. I mean, that's important. And who would have access to that? And is it a widespread thing? Does everybody know about it? Would it only be something that a few people would know about? It'd be kind of a hidden thing that only the rich would use, or like the political elites or whatever. Um, like, are there different factions? Uh, is there, I don't know, is there turmoil at brewing? Like in the reference that is given, it says everybody doesn't trust one another. Well, that's really important. So you
I'll
know,
say right now, if so, right now what I've come up with is, I think it's going to be more of a like a mystery type narrative. So I'm thinking murder mystery, and I'm thinking characters can be from wherever, and it's going to start off as. I was actually going to play it. I was going to make it kind of TWFP, and I was going to make it where there's this, it's in the future, so it's going to be more hi-fi than now. But there's this remote, like, virtual chat group, and somebody dies, and then from there we proceed to shenanigans.
well, why is it of interest to the people in the chat room who died, or why they
Because
died?
it was another person in the chat room, and so they decide to go figure it out, or they think somebody in the room did it, or whatever.
Are they worried that they'll be killed?
That's possible. I figure people have different motives for pursuing the adventure.
And how far apart are the people in the chat room? Like, do they get together at some point?
I think they get together at some point. Like, I'll set up some sort of situation where I move them together. I don't know what it'll be yet. But.
Okay, so they would have to have some sort of pretty good hunch of who did it if they're all going to be meeting up together. Or I don't know why they would meet up together. I guess to talk about it in private and not have it be broadcasted.
Yeah, or there could be some sort of clue, or we could have some sort of, somebody dropping breadcrumbs and maybe threatening like more's going to happen, or there's more to the story, or I don't know. If I knew, I would have already written it.
Will there be fighting, or is it just straight up mystery, or is it like Sherlock Holmes mystery where you got fights and whatnot?
No, there can be fighting.
Okay. And there can be oddball magic-y stuff because I mean Elsie has possessed ducklings.
Yeah, there can be pretty much anything. Like, I don't have any particular physics limitations or genre limitations.
Well, so there's no physics to the universe. There has to be something.
You know what I'm saying? There is, you can additively manipulate things like you were saying. There could be some wonky magic stuff or whatever.
There have to be limitations on what I can do.
You do something out of hand, I will just that's the difference between what's narratively useful and what isn't. I assume.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. That's if something totally is like, wait, that's way too, Ubermensch or whatever. Then we can, you can like, hey, you should should maybe tone that down a little bit. But one of the fun things about, what I like doing about this is that people surprise you and you go, oh, that was totally not the direction I was planning on the story to go, but that's cool. I'll just, that's why I don't make it up a lot ahead of time.
Uh-huh. Well, I assume everybody's gonna pick their own MBTI type. I would think we're gonna get a bunch of ENTPs and INTPs in the story.
Well, theoretically, you don't have to pick your own MBTI type.
It's easier to role play as your own type, I think.
Right. But theoretically, since we know the theory, it would be relatively feasible to write someone of a different type, and also could be quite funny. But I admit that, yeah, I didn't want to be anything but an ENTP. I'm like, why would I play any character?
I mean, an ESTJ would be fun too.
They're the best.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wouldn't want to be anything but an ENTP, I think. An ESTP.
Yeah, like when I write, I think most of my characters are usually ENT. They're kind of that that kind of fictional EXTP kind of characters. You're like, sometimes they drift more in the ESTP area. Sometimes they come back.
Right. They're the cool ENTPs.
They're the ENTPs that don't actually overthink, that don't spend quite as much time analyzing as we real ones do.
Uh-huh.
Because that would kind of drag the narrative quite a bit. Especially in like action thrillers. You're like, okay, they just need to kind of make a dumb action just because.
Did you sign up with your Facebook or email?
I just signed up with my email because I have an old account. But
Okay.
they implemented the new login features. So.
Oh, nickname.
Or I was thinking the whole story could occur in a virtual, noir simulation, and yet it's actually set in the future. And then I could utilize all of this like classic noir stuff.
So what is this classic Norse stuff?
What do you mean?
Like a genre, but I guess I'm not too familiar with it.
Oh, noir?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I suppose the more famous incarnations are the movies, like like the Humphrey Bogart, like the Maltese Falcon. It's probably the most famous noir I know of. Big Sleep, all those movies, those were considered noir. It's kind of your narrative style is typically your kind of anti-hero-ish first person, private detective or whatever. That's kind of the stereotype of the genre. You gotta know what it is now. That always kind of dark and dreary and raining and
And a bunch of like the monologues, not monologues. Is that the right word for it? Maybe.
Yeah, some kind of
internal thoughts, like, and then I blah 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 blah.
personal narration.
Yeah.
What's the one in California that was a I can think of what it's called.
Oh, Blade Runner?
No, it's
No, but Blade Runner's a noir movie.
It's kind of noirish, yeah. It's kind of future sci-fi noir, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's it called? Chinatown? Yes, I think that's what it's called. I actually need to watch all of that movie. I watched like half of it. But I've read a lot about it. But typically, the like standard noir time is usually like the probably 30s,
Yeah.
20s. Sometimes later, like the 40s. I do like those old movies though. Let me see. Humphrey
So
Bogart.
is this going to be in the future? Is this going to be present, or is this going to be what?
I think the core setting is going to be future, but it may be a pseudo setting that's in the past sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, your core go 50 years in the future, approximately, something like that. But I am thinking that maybe that it is a simulation, like a holodeck thing going on to start with.
Okay.
I like that. I like the possibilities that gives me. I've already got some ideas of where that could go.